Tim,
Yeah.
I was gonna say I've been watching the NCAA. I watched the quarterfinal games, so 3 of the 4 quarterfinal games. My former captain is the captain of Providence College, and she's a defensive defenseman. Has always been a defensive defenseman, and they drew Wisconsin in the quarters. So, needless to say, I think Wisconsin outshot them 47-13. So I looked at the whole game is online. So I've been clipping out clips of my captain Chloe, and interesting, the 60-minute game, she's on the ice for 42 minutes of it, which is, they only had 5D, but she's a defensive defenseman. So basically, Daryl Watts is on the second line for Wisconsin. That's how good they are. And so Chloe's basically out there. She's getting 20-second breaks, but I have a ton of great video. The video feed from the NCAA.com is quite good. It zooms in quite well, but it's really great to watch her defending. She's an elite level defender against elite level forwards. So it gets some really good clips in terms of how to defend in one-on-one situations. So I can share some of those with you, but I hadn't thought to myself how important it was to get examples of great defenders against great teams when cutting video, right? If you watched Wisconsin against another team that's maybe Northeastern, I don't know if they get as many options, or if you watch two weaker teams, you're maybe not going to get as many great clips. But Providence is a weaker team, but she happens to be the best defender on the team, so she's in all the challenging situations. So I cut video from the first period. I already have 8 good clips, and there's some I didn't take. So lots of good stuff to share there. Hopefully,
Yeah, well, please share them, because I'm sure there's a few that I'd love to use with the Danish girls. So go ahead, Wally. You got your hand up, or is that from before?
No, I'm gonna put it down. Sorry.
Oh, I got it. I can put the hands down.
Okay.
So, anyway, yeah, that'd be good, Kim. Send me a few. Good one-on-ones. I've got a bunch of those that, I'm gonna. We're gonna have a lot of Zoom time when we're in Halifax, so we're going to be in the hotels for 7 days or whatever. So I'm not sure what exactly our plan's going to be, but it'll be some good opportunity to just, have a half-hour meeting with the D and just say every other day, and just watch a few one-on-ones and two-on-ones and get all that stuff straight. So,
well, they've been doing sort of 3-minute highlight packages from each game. And of course, they're offensively driven, but it's not, often, these clips are made for Sportsnet or TSN or whatever, but this is just the NCAA doing it internally on their own site. So it's edited quite well. And they do actually show a couple defensive, and a couple saves. It's not purely offense, but the quality of the clips is quite good. So you can go in and pull from there. In my quest to build my female hockey library, this has been a good bounty of clips for me to pull out in terms of getting good quality and well filmed clips that get zoomed in at the right time. So,
and is that like on US CHO, or is it on
just NCAA.com, and you just search by sport. So just go to the sport and click over to women's ice hockey, and it's got all the recaps. It's still got the full games of all the other quarterfinals on there, so you can get the entire game. Or I've been screen capturing from the entire games. But like I said, I was particularly interested in the Providence one because of my former captain, and I want more defensive clips. I just, because most of the clips I've gotten from the PWHPA or the NWHL are goal clips, right? That's what their highlight packages are. So now I can actually go in and cut video on the defensive side of the puck, which is, that's my goal is to be able to create a library of female clips that our coaches and our players can access. So I think it's great. My former captain's in a lot of these clips, so I can say, oh, there's a Lee side player doing this against some of the best players in the world. And maybe one day I can have all Lee side clips, but I don't know if we'll ever get there in terms of the filming. But it has been powerful to just show the girls those female clips and then have a library of it that they can access. So that's kind of the direction I'm going in pulling all this stuff out. But I'm definitely including some of the clips you've been sharing as well from the European leagues.
Well, good to know. I'll maybe try to check that out. And my my ability, I don't know whether it's my QuickTime version, my old computer, but I don't have much luck with the the drawn video from screen sharing kind of thing. I'll have to see if I can download some of those packages and then put it in my video converter. But I need to get a new computer.
Well, there was a great highlight I posted on my social medias of a block by a forward on Wisconsin, and it's the most picture-perfect block you've ever seen. She's coming out at the point. She's, she gets tight. She has stick on puck. It goes off her arm, I think. She's in full. She tracks it with her eyes perfectly, chases it down, has it on her stick in 3 strides, does a great cutback on the goalie. It would have been even better if she scored at the end. But the camera angle is such you see the shooter shooting right into the block, and so you see this perfect alignment of her stick and her head and her body. That's like I said, I posted it today, but it's nice when the camera gives you the perfect angle for those types of things. So I think she gets from going down in the block to getting the scoring chance. I think it's 8 seconds. It might be 7 seconds from inside her own blue line all the way down. Can't remember the player's name. Schneider, maybe? She's American. But it's great to find clips like that and show how defense drives the offense, especially for the players who seem to think they only need to play on the offensive side of the puck.
Not Malia Schneider.
No, it's what's her name?
She's from Burlington or somewhere.
I have the clip here. I'm trying to let me look it up. No, this one's from Illinois. That's Caitlin maybe Schneider. She's not a big scorer for them. She had a ton of chances in that game against Providence, though. I was actually shocked. I've never really watched Wisconsin as a group, but no, there's been a lot of D's scoring too. In the first 2 games were UMD winning and Northeastern, and 2 D's scored the game-winning goals in those games. So, just trying to. I don't know what I'll do once I have to start cutting goalie clips. So maybe I'll get Sammy to do that for me. But trying to get more of the D and forward stuff. But no, like I said, the NCAA stuff's great. It's such good hockey. Honestly, it's as good, maybe even better than some of the PWHPA because they've been practicing more, right? So the execution, that Wisconsin team is loaded for bear. It's quite scary. But
so what is it at? What's the series at, Kim?
The semis are today. There's a 2 o'clock and a 7 o'clock semis today. There's
and
one
who is in it?
The teams left are Northeastern, Minnesota Duluth, Ohio State, and Wisconsin. Okay. So I think those are UMD had the upset. I think they're the 6, but Northeastern's 1, Wisconsin's 2, and Ohio State was 3. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I can see how Northeastern is 1 based on their record, but Wisconsin's talent level is it's unbelievable.
I've got a question about the NCAA. I watched. Jordan sent me the link, and I'm watching previous games. One of the players from Cochrane that Jordan coached is on that team, and I got to watch her try out with the Chinese team. Evaluate in Toronto earlier this year. So I was quite curious about watching her play. And my question is not the X's and O's of what they're doing well or not doing well. At the NCAA, she got maybe 6 minutes of ice time in the whole game. And I know it's the playoffs and whatnot, but Courtney Coleman's a girl who left here, came back to Mount Royal after 2 years of having to live with the philosophy of coaching there, where you might get to play power play in your 3rd and 4th years, very limited time, limited ice time, relative to what they're accustomed to on a play all situations first half, earn your role in the second half. And I don't know, the ability to cope with that with your players, if you coach them to play all situations and morph into roles, boy, they've got to be educated to handle that challenge so they don't quit and come back, or be prepared for the decision making to handle it, cope with it, and put up with it until their fourth and fifth years. And Tim, you've coached down there, the more experienced players in terms of number of years. Did they have an expectation they deserved to play the power play more than earned it?
There's definitely a sort of a senior centric kind of thinking down there, which yeah, I didn't like. I didn't really adhere to. I just tried to put the best people in the best situations according to their ability. They've done that for years at U of A, where even to a great extent they give sort of preferential treatment to the seniors on the team, both men and the women, and I've never really liked that sort of approach.
Well, it's interesting, Wally. I was watching Wisconsin, and I know a D on Wisconsin who was on, pretty sure she's on Team Canada U18. She didn't get a single shift in the game. Now, I know the kid and I know the family really, really well. So she's on the bench. I looked it up online. She's been dressed for all their games this season. But but I also think she's going to Wisconsin for a reason. You go to Wisconsin, everybody's on the Olympic team or on the national team. Your expectation going into that has to be tempered by the fact who you're going in with, right? So there's a kid who's Team Canada U18, and she didn't get a single shift from what I saw in a game against Providence that they clearly dominated from the first puck drop. And that's not a knock against the kid. She's a phenomenal defenseman. But I wonder what, and I'm sure with Mark Johnson there, like the messaging, like she wouldn't have necessarily gone in there and expected to be the go-to. But, their second line has a kid who's Lacey Eden, who, was one of the best players on the ice, and she's a freshman. So I wonder at schools like that, like the Minnesotas and the Wisconsins, where there's the expectation you're going to get to the final every single year, and you just keep recruiting, the best of the best of the best. Now you've got Team Canada, Team USA kids who don't even get a shift. Like that's got to be really hard to deal with. And I wonder how they temper those expectations as the players are coming in, or do they say, "Oh no, you'll be one of our best D," and then they get shut down to reality when they don't make it? I'm not sure, but I think it's really interesting.
Yeah, I relate
when you're that good.
I relate that to Darryl Belfry's minor hockey experience. There's a balance there. You can try to win a national championship, but everybody's got to play. Even at the NHL level, they manage the minutes better, so everybody has a role and earns a role and plays a role. So I think the reality of those girls, yes, the Olympians in particular, potential Olympians, the ice time they're getting is not going to be as much as they would get on that national Olympic team. And you've got to play 4-line, 40-second shift hockey. And that balance between how you're coached, how you play, it's something that is really important when you're thinking of the national women's program. How do you manage that team relative to how are they playing there? And are they learning to play a different role, earn a different role, and accept shorter shifts and more of a team play philosophy? So that's the intriguing thing. I just think watching that game and seeing this girl not get any ice time, I thought she was at the camp one of the best players at the Chinese camp, which had 7 professional players on it playing for that pro team that's playing in Russia now. And to not see her play, I just thought, okay, I wasn't as impressed with the team play in that game of either team. It was pretty one-on-one-ish. And
which game did you watch, Wally?
I watched Minnesota. It was an overtime win for Minnesota.
Oh yeah, the Duluth game.
Yeah, that game.
I didn't watch that one. I missed it.
But you know, I just looked at it because she was playing. Then I watched how they were playing, and I didn't see much happen about what we're talking about, like, you know, at a higher level. So it
Well,
was,
watch Wisconsin play. You'll see all of it. I was very impressed by it, but Providence was out of their league. They were punching way above their weight. I'm sure Wisconsin will have a tougher road of it today, but no, the execution and the offensive movement of Wisconsin when they don't have the puck or when they're cycling down low, like their top two lines. And again, I think they're majority Team Canada level or Team USA level players. But it's not like what I would say I typically see of college hockey teams. So it was fun to watch and not necessarily able to replicate it unless you have players of that level. But
what about Providence? How many national players are on their team? Or
they have.
carded athletes?
I don't know the Americans. I know they had. I know Bachna's there who played. I think she played on the U18 for Canada. They don't have many. They've got the German national team goalie, who kept them in, but they're not even in the same stratosphere, in terms of that ability. And I would say Providence rolled a bit more. They only had 5D on the roster. I guess they had a bunch of COVID issues, so they only had 5D to play. But like I said, Wisconsin got through their lineup. Like their fourth line definitely got minutes, and I don't know if the kid I knew was just more of a utility player in that situation. I'm not sure. But I would say both coaches were pretty even with ice time in that game, from what I saw. And then I watched. I forget what the first game I watched, but similarly, I thought they were pretty even. But today will be the telling one because it's the semis, right? And you've got really the top four teams. So whether they shorten or not in those scenarios will be interesting. But I got to run, guys. I got this one's. Want to say hi, Sasha?
Hi, Sasha.
This is the social one. All right,
Hey,
guys.
We've got Dean Holden on speakerphone with us now, everybody. So
I can take over. Slide in.
Is Malcolm